Nova. Pop, puppy. Pop, pop. Oh my goodness. Hey. Come on, let's go. This way. Come on. Come on, it's okay. Come. Come. No, come. Good girl. Come. Pop up, come. Good girl. Good girl. Nova, come. Come on, this way. Come on. Good. Addie, come. Come on, Papa. Come on. Good girl. Come on. Go. Good girl. Okay. Yeah, we just got back. Letting her explore a little bit. So far, so good. She doesn't seem nervous about the traffic or anything so far. Busy, busy. Brain's going, sniffing everything. Huh. Okay, going to meet the boys. She already met Addie. Hey, absolutely not. You go see your house? This way. House. Good girl. Hey, you shush. I gotta go get our food and stuff, and I gotta get these guys out. Good. So she's being a little standoffish with Poppy. But she submits to pressure really easily. So she was kennel stressing pretty bad, having a hard time putting any weight on her, barking constantly all day long, jumping around in there, pacing around. They burn a lot of calories when they get super stressed out like that. So she's a tad bit underweight, but not too bad. And apparently had bloody stools too because of all the stress. I'm gonna treat her with ivermectin either way, just to make sure it's not something else. It's no harm to her, but she did pop off at Poppy. She growled at him. Nothing major. I shouldn't even say pop off. She just low-grade growled, and he didn't even take her seriously. I put pressure on her, and she settled right down. Good girl. But she's... Hey. She's from a municipal pound. Probably a medium-sized city. Not the greatest place in the world. And she was brought in by animal control. She's an abuse case. She's been kicked. She's been hit. She's been thrown against walls. And she doesn't have any issues with people. And doesn't necessarily really have issues with dogs. It's just she could be super submissive. They tried to see how she was with a dog. She was in the pen. Let a dog go running down, charge the pen, and she just immediately rolled over and bellied up. And this dog, I actually looked at this dog to adopt for myself, and he was just a little bit over the top, way too much for what I need, you know. So I can see where that happened. She did good with Eddie, you know. So far here, she's done pretty good, you know, going up and meeting them. We'll see how it goes when she's in the pen here. But coming in here, she's pretty relaxed and quiet. So because she's different here, I can keep her this way. I can reset her. So not let her escalate to the point where she was in the kennels over there. And here, you know, they can see each other. So it's not like they're alone. In the kennels, there's pretty much a solid wall between them. So you have to jump about 5 feet in the air to see the neighbor. So basically they can hear them and they can smell them, but they don't see them. Good. So when she completely goes on her side or completely puts her chin down, I'm going to always let her know, because then she's going more into relaxation. And that's pretty good for just getting here, for her to be that relaxed. It was a long drive, so maybe she's tuckered out some. I'll go get Frankie. He has to have his dinner. I have to find the slow feed bowl. She went too fast. Trying to get her to play. There we go. And test her with the dogs, with her out here. I want to gauge her interest in the dogs. Guess she's thirsty. If I put her in there, all the dogs are going to run over there and be interested in her. And the dog that's in there typically wants attention. And the dog that's out here, they got other things they can do. So they don't always give the dog in there attention. But always, if there's a new dog in there, they bum rush over. So I just want to gauge her interest in how much she wants how much time she wants to spend, how much interest she has in the dogs. These two can never meet physically because they're both intact. But he's friendly, and I just want to gauge her interest. And he can be very playful. I want to see how she engages. Most playful so far. Little submissive. Not right off the bat though, not like immediately. I didn't want you to see me. I didn't want you to see me pop up. I didn't want you to see me pop up. Okay. She's, they say about 1.5-ish, but she looks like a puppy to me. And sometimes these little pits, they're just like perpetual puppies, you know. I call them puppy head faces. They just look like puppies throughout their entire adulthood. Oh, you're a little peanut, aren't you? You gonna go play with Luca? Go see Luca. Come on, let's go. Good girl. Hello, Mr. Luca. Hello, Mr. Luca. Come. No, come. Come on. Good. Good girl. Little reversal today. Putting her in the pen. She should be more active and more playful with the dogs. At least the dogs that are more active and playful anyways. Just getting her warmed up with Eddie since she's more familiar with him. She's been a little bit standoffish with Poppy for no apparent reason, but it's only in her crate, so I think they'll be fine. Ultimately, I'm gonna have Poppy and Eddie mentor her. But she really hasn't been doing bad so far. Whatever her fears were that were preventing her from walking and not wanting to be outside and all that, she doesn't seem to have that here. So some superstitious behavior that she has from either the construction going on next door or that dog or whatever it was, it doesn't exist here. Superstitious behavior is when a dog experiences something that kind of freaks them out or frightens them, and then they become weary or frightened or afraid of it. So a good example is sometimes, like, see that plastic, like a plastic bag will get stuck in a tree, right? And then the wind blows and it waves around and makes noise. And so it wasn't there yesterday, but then it's all of a sudden there today, and it's in the tree making noise, and the dog may like bark at it and then pull back and then go towards it and bark at it and pull back, and then they run away from it, and then, you know, because it made a noise, and they act like they're afraid of it. And then typically, if this, you know, bag stays stuck in the tree, after a week or two, they get used to it and they don't even notice it anymore, typically. Or you just kind of have to tell them, you know, come here, go see what it is. You see it doesn't do anything, it doesn't actually hurt you, and then they get used to it. There you go. Again, she rolls over for him. She don't belly up for him. She don't belly up for Eddie. Oh, right in the face. Right in the face. Oh. again, doesn't belly up for coffee. A little bit of lip licking. Now I'm going to show you why. Those stupid gimmick collars that they sell on the internet, or try to sell. Pain-free, blah, 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 all that stuff. They're just vibration and beep collars, which 99.9% of your e-collars have those features. So it's up to you whether you use it or not. Some dogs do find the vibration more aversive than the shock, so they're freaked out more by the vibration. And then a lot of dogs, whether it's the beep or the vibration, they don't really care because it doesn't have any meaning. And so many of my clients spend and waste so much money on stupid crap before they call me, because they try all kinds of stuff. And I just want you to not go around spending stupid money on a bunch of dumb crap just because in the name it says gentle leader or pain-free, blah blah blah, right? Because I'm not inflicting pain on the dog with the shock collar. It's very, very low level. And like I said, a lot of times the dogs actually find the vibration aversive, more aversive. But the idea is, if they don't care about it, because I just put this collar on her, she has no idea what it means. So if they don't care about the vibration, you just wasted a bunch of money. And the way to get them to understand what a vibration or a beep means is it becomes a warning that you're about to get corrected. And so you find the proper level that they respond to. So it's up to them to respond. It's up to them to decide what level they want to take. And typically it's not that high. When you feel it, when my clients feel it, they're like, well, that's not bad at all. It's like a battery or something. When you were a kid and you put a battery on your tongue. Usually not even that bad. But that's what they respond to. And then you start to use the vibration as a warning that, hey, if you do it again, you're going to get the shock. And then they get the shock. And then they learn and they start responding to the vibration or the beep because it's a warning. And then from that on, you can also incorporate, the word no or something, and they'll start to respond to that. But you have to do the work. You have to do the training to get to that point. You can't just put a vibration collar on a dog, press beep or vibration, and expect it to work. It's not some new invention they're trying to market it as. It's been around. So she has some habits, like she'll counter surf, she'll go up on top of the crates and stuff. There's food and things up there. So if there's something I don't want her to get into, I'm gonna give her a vibration. But basically, I just don't want you to get fooled by these gimmicks, The gentle leader. The snout of a dog has 1,000 times more nerve endings than the neck does. And so, no. See, that was a vibration and a no, and she don't care. I'll do it again. I don't know if we could see the collar from here, but you'll see the collar light up. Okay, she's gonna go up there. No. So I'm pushing vibration. Nothing. She don't care. So you see the collar lighting up red? I'm pushing vibration and she don't care. Now this time we're going to give her a stimulation with electric current. There's my leftovers from last night. So now she cares. See it? She backed off. And this is a low level. I'm at 10. I can't feel it at 10. I typically can't feel it until 12, maybe 15. It's very light on this collar, an AT300. No. So she got an electric stimulation for that. Now I do believe she's starting to respond, and she's starting to understand that I'm the one that's doing it. No. So I gave her a vibration for that one. Not as much, not as much of a response. But let's say she does, right? If she's in the pen outside, or if she's in the crate sometimes, and I'm not in the room, she'll whine and bark and make all kinds of weird noises. So that's a no for going near the garbage. Vibration. A little bit of confusion, but not moving away. Shock. Again. Again. Moved away. Good. And you see, she's not in pain. She's like scratching herself. She's got something itches, so she feels something. And if I wanted her to move away, I go up a couple notches if I wanted her to move away at the first time. But I'm just introducing this to her right now. Typically I don't off, so there's a vibration. Here's a shock. Off. So you see she's a little bit more responsive. I'm going to kick it up a couple notches. So now I'm on 12. 12 on an ET300. And she's a bit of a nosy one. She likes to get into stuff. And that could be detrimental depending on what she gets into, But most people don't want a dog that's going to counter surf and, go in the bathroom and get into the garbage and chew up toilet papers or whatever, Nobody wants to deal with that. So we try to stop it now. And typically, for even looking, like now for looking, well, not really so much that, but if she's interested in something, like, I'm going to put this, make this a little bit more accessible. I'm just going to put that right there. So for showing interest in it, I would correct her. You can't even look at the counter. No. No. And it takes a while. Like I said, if there's something she's doing that's like consistently barking when I leave the room, I'll give her the vibration warning, and then the correction afterwards. And then 5 minutes later, she starts again. I'll give her the vibration warning, and then if she keeps doing it, the correction afterwards. So she starts to figure out the pattern and understands that the soft correction means the same thing as the harsher correction, so she might as well listen the first time. And this is a dog that was severely abused. She was beaten, kicked, thrown against the wall, and she doesn't have like any fear of this, none whatsoever. She has unusual fears, at least she did at the shelter, not wanting to be outside because I guess construction noises, and then one dog who was just really dominant. So there's a piece of food that fell down into the tray. Again, going towards the food, looking up, considering getting the hamburger, right? And now she's not. So if she goes to the hamburger again or anything else the next time, because she's got a few corrections, I'll try the vibration again. She was just looking at it going, but I can get to it. But I want her to, when I'm not in the room, not be thinking about that hamburger. I want her to think, oh, that hamburger, that's off limits. Or whatever else it is, It could be barking out the window. It could be anything. But typically when I correct a dog, I mark it no, and I correct with the vibration, and then follow up if that doesn't do anything with the shock correction. And just because it has the word shock doesn't mean it's painful or bad or scary. This fearful, abused dog is not afraid at all. I had somebody inquire about working with a dog who had fear issues, and they asked me what kind of training I did. I told them, and they said, could I not do it the way I do it? And I basically just told them, look, you're not there yet. You're not ready. You need to suffer more before you call me. Go try a bunch of stuff, other trainers, spend your money, do what you got to do. I don't know why you would do that, but eating clumps of Luca hair. Clumps of Luca hair. And move over towards the hamburger again. She's pretty much ignoring it now. Right there. She hasn't jumped up on any of the crates in a while. One thing she is a coffee fiend, and every time I have coffee, she jumps up on me and tries to stick her nose in it. Usually ends with me spilling coffee on myself, but could spill hot coffee on her too. Plus, it's annoying as shit. Outside, she typically doesn't get into anything. There's really not much to get into, but she's pretty much just a homebody. She stays pretty close. Here's the hamburger. Didn't even acknowledge it. Didn't even smell in that direction. But that's why those gimmicky things are just a waste of money. I'm saying the gentle leader that goes around the snout. Dogs have 1,000 times more nerve endings in the snout than they do in their neck. And a lot of times dogs that use those, they get rope burn around their snout. And why would you use one of those when a prong collar is actually more gentle? And typically once you put a prong collar on and they put the amount of pressure that gets them to stop, and they figure it out in just a very short time, and they just don't pull just from having it on. And in my opinion, a good tool is a tool that you really don't have to use, or barely have to use, maybe just a flick of the wrist. So if you put a gentle leader on your dog and the dog doesn't pull and it works, fine, right? But that's typically not the case. At least with the dogs I've seen anyways. And maybe these are people that have just like tried and failed and don't know what else to do. But a bunch of dumb idiots will talk them out of using a prong collar or an e-collar that's very effective. And once they're trained on it, for the most part, with most dogs, you really don't have to use it or hardly have to use it. You know, like Edward, I don't need it for him. The only time I do put it on him is when he's off leash, for the most part, or when we're playing with other dogs. So if I need to communicate with him from a distance, I can, you know. So if something happens and two dogs get into it, or, you know, from the other side of the yard, I can immediately communicate without having to run across the other side of the yard. Of course. These two are falling in love, huh? Okay, out here, anything new that you want to get into? Like my coffee? You know, if I didn't want her venturing into this corner. Out. So that time was the vibration, and she responded. So I'm already getting a response from the vibration. And this collar also beeps too. I very rarely, actually I never use the beep. On these cheap collars, it's, you know, got its own button. It's a little bit easier. I've used it by accident, but it doesn't really do anything unless they know, you know. That's my experience. Unless they've learned, they don't know what the beep means. Unless you show a dog what the word no means, they don't respond to that either. You could say no until you're blue in the face, but if no doesn't have a consequence, they're not going to respond. No. So there's no and vibration. And we got a response. It's a little bit slow, but it'll pick up. So I can also use it to get her attention, you know, if I need to. Nova, come. So that was a vibration. And also, you know, saying her name and come. I want her to get used to that too, you know. When she feels that, it means I want her attention. She's hesitant about going in. House. Good. So later on, I am gonna use the collar to train her to go in and out of the crate when told. But for now, we're just gonna test her in the crate. Like I said, typically if I leave the room, not always, but sometimes she'll start making crazy noises and barking. And at the shelter, in the kennel, she would bark day and night, all day long. And basically kennel stressing out, losing weight, not able to gain weight. You know, a lot of times they pace back and forth and jump against the wall, do backflips, and they just kind of obsess with this type of behavior when they're in. And typically that comes from when they're out, they kind of get spoiled. You know, she's a sweet little cute thing. She's very affectionate, wants a lot of attention, so people probably spend a lot of time coddling and petting her. And then when you put them in, they're like, I don't want to be in here. I want to be out there getting coddled and pet. You know, so it's okay, get them out, get them exercise and stuff, but make them follow some rules, you know. Another thing that people typically like to do, give them stuff to distract them. So they were giving her huge marrow bones just to keep her busy and quiet, sometimes 2 a day. And shush. That gives them loose, you know, stool, basically diarrhea. It's so rich. And she was getting some blood in her stool as well, you know. I give those things typically once a week. That's it. And you see that size, you know. Not like, I mean, these things were cut huge. That's enough, and that even the leftover bone's going to keep her busy, good girl. But giving them stuff and catering to it doesn't help at all. It just makes it worse, because once it's done, they either want more or they want more attention. And so basically, she's going to start to get the message that that behavior isn't allowed. So I disagree with stress and anxiety. And that's how you stop it. You don't stop it with drugs. You don't stop it with, catering and giving into it and giving him busy stuff. You can give your dog busy stuff, a Kong full of whatever, yogurt and stuff. That's fine, but it's not going to end it. It's just fine to give them something to do, but they also have to know that that's not allowed. And that's how you stop it. It's not like people where they need to go see a psychologist or something, Noisy. Noisy. You're not supposed to be noisy. You are sometimes, though, huh? Okay, so give it 2 vibrations and it didn't do it. Two stim corrections and that did it. So I just want to let her know whenever she starts to become anxious or stressed, I'm going to disagree with it. And then what I'll continue to do, like if it's quiet for a while and she does it again, I'll give her another vibration. If that doesn't work, then I move up to the next one. So that she starts to understand that that's a warning, and if she keeps it up, what comes next is not as pleasant. Even though, like I showed you before, it's very low level, it's not stressing her out in any way. Stress and anxiety can lead to disease, it can lead to sickness, it can lead in dogs, it can lead to aggression. And then eventually euthanization. So it's not a joke. I mean, this is mostly in a kennel situation where you'd see something like that. Just months and months and months of pent up frustration, they have to release it somehow, and sometimes they release it through biting. Sometimes they release through aggression to other dogs. So in my opinion, it's not okay to let it go. It's cruel, actually. You're inviting, you're inviting disease, stress-caused diseases. You're inviting, possible aggression. And just the fact that they live like that. Who would want to live like that? It's been about 5 minutes. She's starting up again. So right there, a vibration. Another one. Didn't do anything. Next. First 2 stims at 12 were not so effective, so we went up to 15. Now it stops. Back on again. Two more stims. Now if she's quiet for a little bit longer, the next one's going to be a vibration until she starts to get the pattern. But if she's just keeps ignoring the vibration, I can't just keep doing it. It's pointless. And that's why those collars are a waste of money. It's your choice. You can use what you want. But the dog, in most cases, has to learn. They have to learn that it has meaning, Otherwise, they'll just ignore any beep or vibration. been about 15 minutes. Vibration. Vibration. Okay, it's only been a couple minutes. So vibration. Again. Correction. And she stopped. She didn't listen to the vibration this time. But as the pattern keeps repeating, she'll get there. Vibration. So if she was to start back up right now, I'd give her a stim. But if she waits a while, because that was successful, a couple more minutes or something, then I would give her another vibration warning. Vibration. 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 Correction. At some point I have to step up the correction. And a lot of times, once they get like a higher correction, that's the only time you ever have to do it. They remember it and they don't want it again. And then they try to be on their best behavior. And by higher correction, I mean we're on 15 was the highest so far. And that's typically the level that I feel it when I put it on my skin. And it's, to me, a light level, Every person is different. Every dog is different. What they feel or what level they feel it at is different. So it's got to be customizable to every dog. Luca doesn't respond to low-level correction. A lot of times I have to be at 40 just to get him to respond. Eddie responds at 1. And I could put it on my tongue and I don't feel it until between 3 and 5. And it's like, kind of like, okay, do I feel it? Okay, I think I feel it, It's not much. So I don't know how he responds to 1. But I correct him with 1 and he flicks his head to the side and stops what he's doing. Which is pretty incredible. And some dogs, typically, their working level can be between 3 and 5. Again, barely feel that on my tongue. And that's, by working level, I mean like low-level distractions. It's just one-on-one, you and them, you're working together. So you're asking them to do commands and then you're using the collar to enforce what you're doing. It's different at the park where there's other dogs, people, distractions. Then your working level, like if you're using it to walk and heel, has to go up. And then your correction level for when they see a dog or something also has to go up because they will ignore it if there's excitement, something excites them. Doesn't it figure the two that can't ever meet are the most interested in playing with each other? She's pretty vocal sometimes. But she's getting more confidence. You're getting more confidence, huh, Pop-Up? Not that one, not that one. That one, jeez. Oh no, not the green. That's what we need. Okay. Still pricey. Oh my goodness. Easy. Noisy. Hey. You see what Eddie did? She was getting a little snappy. And she had to be told, and she had to submit. And if I have to do this a couple more times, that'll probably be it. She'll understand. She may not have processed what caused me to put pressure on her like that, but she'll figure it out. Otherwise, she's doing great. No lack of confidence with Eddie, that's for sure. See if we could repeat and get her to go in. That would be huge. She may actually float a little in the deep part. She was good in Home Depot too. The only time I really had any trouble with her, and I'm not even gonna say it's trouble, or what they were saying is that she was afraid from the construction going on next door and didn't want to go on walks anymore. I just think she don't want to go on walks, to be honest with you. Because she'll put on the brakes and be stubborn, and you got to put some pressure, maybe give her a little couple of vibrates on the e-collar and get her going. But once she got the message that I don't wait for you, then she was fine. I think it was possibly just she don't want to walk. Some dogs do that, like especially like at the shelter or possibly even here. It's difficult to walk here because it's just a busy road. There's no sidewalks, but when they have such a good time in the yard, like they play with each other, they got the pool, he's a ball addict, they would rather do this stuff here than go on a walk. And a lot of times when they think, oh, you're taking me out, they think they're going to go outside, and then they find out they're going on a walk, and they're like, hey, I didn't want to go on a walk. Especially when it's really hot and sunny and the pavement is hot, and you know, they just may not want to go. If she doesn't go in, I can put a leash on, put leash pressure, and get her to go in. Typically, once you get them to go in, and they kind of enjoy it, then they just go in on their own after. Or I could throw toys or a ball or something in there that she wants. And a lot of times they'll try to paw at the water to get the ball, and then eventually they just go in. And once they figure out nothing scary happens, then they enjoy it. Especially when it's really, really hot. You don't want to go in the pool, Pop-Up? You don't want to go in the pool, Pop-Up? Good girl. Good girl. What a puppy head face. What a puppy head face you have. Do you know that? You know that? You're a perpetual puppy. You're going to be 9 years old, and everyone's going to go, oh, what a cute puppy. How old? 9 months? 9 years, huh? Because you have a puppy head face. What a sweet girl. Easy, Edward. Eddie, easy. Just a bye-bye. Just a bye-bye.